Hey everyone, it is Tea Time with the Diva. Grab your tea, grab your coffee, because we're going to get into it. This tea time is dedicated to the later accuser that filed a lawsuit against Diddy. This particular gentleman, when he filed his lawsuit, he said that everything that he is accusing Diddy of happened to him when he went to a party for Diddy's son, Christian King Combs. He said at said party, Beyonce was there, saw him in distress. Jay Z was there, saw him in just distress. I want to say he named what is her name? They're the singers, they're the singers, they're the singers. I'm trying to get it to come to my name right now. Well, he named this famous couple. Pretty much said they was there too. First day he was brought to their house, and then he was ushered through a tunnel being made a mockery of into Diddy's house. Well, now he has amended his lawsuit. He amended his war. It's Gloria Estefan and her husband. It just came to me. So now he has amended his lawsuit, and he took Beyonce and Jay Z name out of it. He said, "Oops, had an epiphany. Beyonce and Jay Z weren't there. My bad. My mistake." Listen, I don't think when it comes to anyone that probably is accusing Diddy of anything, if they add other names besides Diddy, their chances of getting justice is probably going to go down. Well, maybe that depends on who name you add. When you want to add Beyonce and Jay Z, who are billionaires, and no matter what we want to say or think, money talks. When you add them, your chances of getting justice is probably going to go all the way down in the gutter, because Jay Z has Alex Spiro in his back pocket, his front pocket, up here, everywhere. Alex is not going to let Jay Z go down for nothing. And I mean nothing. And that is why the young man that is currently trying to fight Jay Z, saying that Jay Z is his father and he wants Jay Z to take a DNA test. Now that I see how Alex Spiro works, his name is Ramir. I never would tell anybody to give up. But Ramir, if you're going to continue this fight, you got to put the armor on you, because it's going to be a long, hefty, expensive fight. And not because you're right or wrong, but because unfortunately, when it comes to the justice system, the more money you have, it seems the more things will kind of go your way. So good luck, Ramir. Now, this accuser, Diddy's team is going to use this against you, because you first filed the suit and you named all these people. And then you woke up and was like, my bad, Beyonce and Jay Z wasn't there. They're going to utilize that piece of information to call you a straight liar and say you don't remember anything. You're making up everything, because first you said Jay Z was there, then you turned around and said it wasn't. So why should we believe you about anything else that you're saying? Good luck, accuser. And listen, I'm not telling any accuser that they shouldn't stand up and fight for justice, but I will say this. The closer you can come to speaking up in real time, the better off you're going to be. Because when you come years and decades later, people will deny. They're going to tell you you're not remembering. It's shameful and it's dreadful. And I wish every victim can get the justice that they are seeking for and need. But if I can give anyone advice, if it happened to you today, at best 24 to 48 hours later, try your best to see if you could come forth and say whatever happened to you to the proper authorities or whoever you need to tell. With that being said, let's get into this story of, the accuser now saying, sorry, Jay Z and Beyonce, we're not there. So Diddy accuser changes his tune on Beyonce and Jay Z. He said, my bad, they weren't there. Beyonce coming face to face with a drugged up guy wearing a pea mask must have been a crazy fever dream. The Diddy accuser who claimed Bey and Jay Z saw him at a freak off has changed his mind. Manzaro Joseph, who sued Diddy earlier this month, just filed an amended lawsuit. And while he's still going after Diddy in court, he's very noticeably dropped the Carters from his narrative. Let's take a listen. You know,
Okay, hold on a second.
I don't know who is advising these people when they come to file their lawsuit, but the lawyers got to do a little bit better too in vetting out the client and saying, okay, asking them all kinds of questions. Let's take a
Not an April Fool's joke, what you're about to hear. It is an actual lawsuit filed by an attorney in federal court about Diddy and an alleged freak-off that went down in Miami in April 2015. So exactly 10 years ago. They say this was a party for Diddy's son, King Combs, but all the names involved here are huge.
Huge.
Talking Beyoncé, Jay Z, LeBron James. Now, all of those people are just witnesses, according to this lawsuit.
And strangely enough, Gloria Estefan.
Gloria
The
Estefan.
rhythm is going to get you, Gloria Estefan.
Yes.
And her husband, Emilio.
Yes. And now, again, all witnesses. Emilio is actually a defendant in this lawsuit, along with Diddy. But here is the story as told by a man named Joseph Manzaro in this lawsuit that we obtained this morning. He says that he showed up at this party, or woke up at this party, and didn't understand how he got there, that he's insinuating clearly that he'd been drugged, but woke up and at one point saw Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan, and Gloria is saying, hey, we need to get him medical help because he's too drugged up.
Get an ambulance, get him out of here.
And according to Manzaro, Emilio steps in and says, no, we're not doing that, and shoves Gloria out of the way, and then they take this guy through a tunnel from the Estefan's house to Diddy's home. Now, this is on Star Island in Miami. They do actually live near each other. So that part of it is, that's a fact that anybody can find.
Sure.
But what happened once he got into this party at Diddy's house is outrageous. And I know we're supposed to take every lawsuit seriously because we don't know, we weren't there. The Gloria Estefan part, that's just the start. How Beyonce gets involved. So listen to this. He says that at one point.
I will say this, and I'm not saying nobody's guilty versus innocent, but how would he know just randomly, because that's a very exclusive neighborhood, that Gloria Estefan and her husband live so close to Diddy on Star Island? I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. I'm thinking as they're talking. Let's continue on.
He's being walked around the party, and he looks up and sees Beyonce, and she says, what's this? What's this all about? Why is this half-naked white man with a blank mask, another word for penis, mask, standing here in front of me?
Yeah, apparently they put on him a penis mask on his head. So he's wearing almost no clothes, according to his lawsuit, and a penis mask. And that was a jarring sight for people.
And LeBron James also saw him at one point and said, y'all better do something about that. It goes on. There's more. It is one hell of a story.
Yeah, look, this is one of the most shocking lawsuits I've read. If this had been the first Diddy lawsuit, our jaws would be on the floor, but there's a quality to it that sounds like almost a screenplay being written, because he says he was lapsing sort of in and out of consciousness, and he's hearing voices of celebrities throughout this lawsuit. There's obviously the mask that he says he was wearing and being degraded and humiliated. There's also a bit of a Mad Libs quality of the other defendants. There's people who have sued Diddy before. A woman named Audria English is a defendant in this lawsuit. She's been a plaintiff in another lawsuit against Diddy. So it's hard to make heads or tails of this, if this is just so late in the game that it's someone who is very familiar with the people and the players in Diddy's life that they could put together a lawsuit,
or if it's something that
happened.
Or if it's something that happened and the reason that you recognize the names is they are people
who are really in Diddy's circle.
Who were in Diddy's circle. It also mentions a guy named Brendan Paul, who you recall when the raids went down, was arrested by the authorities and charged as basically allegedly being a drug mule for Diddy. He is mentioned in this lawsuit as well, and is actually one of the defendants So
I will say one of the good things about a lawsuit like this is there's a lot of potential witnesses, and they'd have to all be on the same page and all lying about the same thing. It's harder to do than sort of lawsuits that are built around a private setting where it's he said, she said. This would, the guy says it happened at a party, so there would presumably be people who could verify it or say it didn't happen.
yeah, and that's one of the problems. You're right. When you mention all those people, they may all have alibis.
Well, Jay Z certainly seems to have one.
Yeah.
So Jay Z has mentioned that he's there with Beyonce, but we know that Jay Z was in New York
Yes.
the night that it was supposed to be. Now,
the night of King Combs of his birthday, which happens to be April 1st. Happy birthday.
Is it possible that he got on a private jet afterwards in New York and flew down there? Possible. But
yeah, I don't know. Look, these are all allegations, very wild allegations laid out in this lawsuit. As Derek said, there are elements of it that sound like some of the other lawsuits, but we have not heard a response back from Diddy at this point.
Well, no, Diddy's attorneys said it not credible at all. This complaint demonstrates the depraved lengths plaintiffs will travel to garner headlines in pursuit of a payday. No sane person reading this complaint could credit this story. It goes on to say basically that he's looking forward to his day in court when he's going to get to prove all this wrong, which is something that we hear over and over again for all of these lawsuits.
Because we've seen dozens of them. And remember, the federal case the criminal case is going to go first. That starts in May, and then whatever after the outcome of that, then all of these lawsuits that we've been telling you about for months and months now, then Diddy will start dealing with all of those.
Presumably, though, if he was found not guilty in the federal case, that makes it harder for these other cases in terms of the jurors' minds, even if it legally is not supposed to.
Right.
Hi, I'm Tiffany from St. Louis, currently joining you from San Francisco. I think that there might be a few truths thrown in there somewhere to some of these allegations, but this one almost seems like a fan fiction, or like there are parts of it that just seem a little fabricated, you know, like word salad, all the celebrities thrown in there. And usually it comes back that they weren't even anywhere near the area. It might be a strategy by his lawyers, but who knows?
Some of those quotes are hard to believe. But by the way, Gloria Estefan comes across great.
Yes, she was trying to help him. She was trying to help him.
She's the best person in the whole thing. And by the way, we should remind people that if you want to learn more about Diddy's defense, there's this great TMZ documentary called The Downfall of Diddy, His Defense, available for free right now on Tubi.
All right, so you can see that in new docs, Joseph makes zero mention of Jay Z or Beyonce. And as far as we can tell, that's the only change he made to the lawsuit. So I guess he left LeBron James in there, Gloria Estefan, and the other celebrities that he mentioned. TMZ broke the story. Joseph originally claimed the couple saw him in one hell of a state during a 2015 birthday party in Miami for Diddy's son, King Combs. Joseph alleged Diddy drugged him and paraded him around the party while forcing him to wear an X-rated mask. And when Jay Z and Beyoncé saw him, she said, "Why is this half-naked white man with a P mask standing here in front of me?" There's a reason that this story does not appear in the new version of the lawsuit. Sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ Jay Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, warned Joseph's attorney about making false allegations in the lawsuit. After proving to him Jay and Bey were nowhere near Miami at the time of the alleged incident. This is the second time Jay's been vindicated in a lawsuit involving Diddy. Remember, the Jane Doe who accused the mobiles of R-ing her back in 2000 dismissed her lawsuit last month. Joseph is still suing Diddy, Emilio Estefan, yes, really, and others for damages. I wonder what he's saying Emilio did, because in the first thing that I read, he just named him as like seeing him, but not doing anything to him. Either way, listen, Jay Z has the lawyer of the century. If you can afford Alex Spiro and you are in trouble, he's the man to go to, because he's about his business. He's worth every, I guess, $3,000 he make per hour. Can you imagine making $3,000 per hour? Well, Alex Spiro doesn't have to imagine, because that's what he makes. Listen, guys, Chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts about Jay Z being dropped from his second lawsuit connecting Diddy. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next video.